Hello everybody and welcome to a special edition of Wrestlescope Weekly. It is Royal Rumble weekend. That means it's time for the Royal Rumble predictions. Yeah, I haven't done very well on predictions lately, but we're going to have some fun with this one. And quite honestly, this is going to be a difficult one. I've watched numerous different YouTube wrestling analysis shows, wrestling news shows talking about their predictions. And everybody's kind of all over the place because there's so many unknowns here. But before I get into this, before I forget, don't forget, please subscribe if you have not done so yet. Like this video. Click on the notification button so you know every time a new video pops up here from Wrestlescope. Also, follow me on TikTok at Wrestlescope TV, at TV_Wrestle on Twitter, and at Wrestlescope on Instagram. So, Royal Rumble, it is here now. WWE Backstage just ended. I'm recording this on Saturday night. It is 8:07 p.m. Central Time here in very snowy Wisconsin. Backstage just ended. So if you didn't happen to catch WWE Backstage, if you haven't seen any spoilers, news on the internet, I'm going to give them to you right now. First of all, number 30 in the Women's Royal Rumble has been determined now. There was a match between Natalya and Tamina. Natalya won that match, so she has earned the right to be the number 30 entrant in the Women's Royal Rumble, which I think is actually a pretty good pick. I actually like the direction they went. Why was it Natalya and Tamina? I don't know, but I like that pick. Natalya coming in number 30. At the very end of the show, they announced number 1 and number 2 for the Men's Royal Rumble, and holy crap, are they starting this off big. Randy Orton, number 1. Edge, number 2. So I could tell you right now, I can confidently say myself, neither one of these two men are going to win. 1 or 2 is not going to be the winning number for the Men's Royal Rumble this year. I think it's going to be very, very, very late in the draw. And I'm going to have some kind of off-the-wall predictions here when it comes to the Royal Rumble. Now, a lot of this is going to be dependent on where certain things fall the rest of the night. I think it is safe for us to assume that the Men's Rumble is going to headline this show. I think that's a pretty safe assumption here. So there will be things we know as of right now. There are 4 matches announced along with the Rumbles. You have the SmackDown Women's Championship, Sasha Banks versus Carmella. You have the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships, Flair and Asuka versus Jackson Baszler, which you would assume, I'm going to guess, that match is going to open the show. That will be our opening match of the show. Will be Flair and Asuka versus Jackson Baszler, not including the pre-show. Then you have the Universal Championship, the Last Man Standing match, Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens, and then Drew McIntyre defending the WWE Championship against Goldberg. So again, I think my guess would be Flair and Asuka versus Jackson Baszler will open the show because you want to give all of them a little bit of time, because Charlotte Flair, Nia Jax, and Shayna Baszler are all announced also to be in the Women's Royal Rumble. So obviously you want to give them a little bit of time to be able to rest. And the Women's Royal Rumble is guaranteed not to open the show either. I'm figuring if they go 3.5 hours here with this one, they may go a full 4. But if they're going to go a full 4, they have to add quite a bit of stuff in here. We haven't heard anything yet, and this could change on the bump tomorrow morning with Bobby Lashley and Matt Riddle. We don't know what's happening there. The SmackDown Tag Team titles, I don't think anything's going to happen there. No announcement on the Intercontinental Championship, which I'm really shocked. I had expected to see Big E versus Apollo Crews versus Sami Zayn in a triple threat. That kind of changes some initial thoughts that I had of what's going to happen in the Royal Rumble. So let's go ahead and go through this. And I am not overly confident in my predictions here at all. I think there is one prediction that I am supremely confident on, and I'm going to go with that one first. It is the SmackDown Women's Championship, Sasha Banks defending against Carmella. There is no way on earth Sasha Banks loses the title here. They have finally given her a run. And it's been decent. I mean, it hasn't been fantastic. This is match number 3, I believe, between her and Carmella. Second one on pay-per-view. I don't know how much further, if any further, this feud is going to go. Sasha Banks doesn't need to lose the title at this point in time. Let her hang on to it. I would love to see her retain the title. I'd love to see actually all of the main singles champions, Asuka, Sasha, Drew, Roman, all retain their titles through WrestleMania. But I don't think that's going to happen. But with this one, I have to go with Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks is definitely going to retain her title and hold on. I think this is going to be a really good match. I'm not a real big fan of the Carmella character right now, but Sasha Banks is going to be able to overcome Carmella and her sommelier, Reginald. Then I'm going to move on. This is one of the three matches outside of the Rumble that I have no clue which direction it's going to go. There has been long speculation that Flair and Asuka, the only reason that the titles were put on Flair and Asuka is to set up the breakup and then the feud for Asuka's Raw Women's Championship at WrestleMania between Asuka and Charlotte Flair. That would be a good match, but we all know what direction it's going to go. As soon as Charlotte Flair faces Asuka, Asuka is going to lose the belt. It's just inevitable. We know this is going to happen. Jackson Baszler, honestly, they could just do away with these tag team titles. They have done absolutely nothing with this. They've built kind of mini storylines here and there, and nothing has come about of it. I am not a fan of the team of Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. I want to see Shayna Baszler off on her own, because I know in the Women's Royal Rumble, she is going to be able to show what she can do. She is going to be just absolutely fantastic in that match. She needs to get away from this tag team. But if they want to start really building this infighting between Flair and Asuka, I have to see Jackson Baszler winning the titles. But then again, then you've got Charlotte Flair and the whole Lacey Evans thing. So there's so many questions right now of what direction things could go. And I really don't know. I am leaning towards, and you can't have all of your champions retaining. That's the thing. You're really at one of the big 5 pay-per-views, one champion has to lose. But I am going to go with Flair and Asuka retaining their titles because they're not ready yet to pull the trigger on Flair turning on Asuka. Because they need her to be a babyface right now with the whole Lacey Evans storyline. I think we're going to see Lacey Evans maybe somehow get involved in this match. I don't know. But they're going to hold off on Flair and Asuka breaking up at least until Elimination Chamber. Or it might be on a Raw. Who knows? But it's not going to happen at the Royal Rumble. So I'm going to go with Flair and Asuka retaining. Roman Reigns, Kevin Owens. This could be the match of the night. Of the 4 non-Rumble matches, this could be the match of the night. I am highly anticipating this one, though I am still a little disappointed that Adam Pearce is not getting a shot. It really would have been cool to see Adam Pearce wrestle at a Big 5 pay-per-view for the WWE. But it wasn't meant to happen. I like the fact that they showed a little bit of weakness in Roman Reigns, how he basically got swerved by Adam Pearce and Kevin Owens. This has really been a good feud. I really like this feud over the last couple of months. I've heard numerous people say, oh, they're kind of sick and tired of Kevin Owens getting his shots, blah, blah, blah. This is the way it should be. You have the babyface chasing after the title. He continues to get screwed over and over and over again, overcomes obstacles, and finally, this has to be the culmination right here of this feud. And as much as I'd love to see Kevin Owens become the Universal Champion for a second time, they're not pulling the belt off of Kevin Owens. They're not. Though I am going to throw a little fantasy booking in a little bit later, but I'm going to go with rational thinking here. And I'm going to say Roman Reigns is going to defend. And will Jey Uso play a part in this? Because Jey Uso, now I ended up missing SmackDown last night. As far as I know, Jey Uso did not make an appearance for the second week in a row. And we know, I'm going to break into some news here real quick. We know that Mia Yim has been confirmed as testing COVID-19 positive. Mia Yim, who is Retaliation in Retribution, has been confirmed that she tested positive for COVID-19. There's been a few others. Oh, that puts a big question mark into Keith Lee. Keith Lee has not been seen on Raw for the last 2 weeks. Could he be out because of COVID-19? Either positive or because of direct contact, because of relationship with Mia Yim. Who knows? There could be a lot of changes, last-minute changes coming to the Royal Rumble card tomorrow night. Well, as Roman Reigns likes to say, card subject to change. But I'm going to have Roman Reigns retaining his title over Kevin Owens. There's going to be some sort of outside interference in this. There has to be. Could it be a returning Jimmy Uso? Who knows? Could it be Apollo Crews? Apollo Crews, who seems to be aligning himself now with Roman Reigns. But somebody will get involved. Drew McIntyre versus Goldberg. I want to throw up in my mouth every time I end up saying this match. Just because it's not fair to Drew McIntyre right now. Yes, they've been saying, well, there really hasn't been anybody else on Raw that could step up to be his challenger. Why not pull the trigger on the whole Sheamus is turning on him thing? Give Sheamus something to do for a couple of months that, he's not getting involved in stupid tag team matches on SmackDown. But they decided to bring Goldberg back, and that whole ill-fated thing on Legends Night where he was saying that Drew was disrespecting the Legends, which he never was. I don't get it. Now, this is one, and I just lost the tweet. I got to bring it back up. Let's see if I can bring it back up here. WrestleVotes on Twitter. A couple of days ago, they had tweeted, and I talked about this on TikTok. It's been all over the place. And this is a direct quote from WrestleVotes. Sorry for the lack of details here, but still noteworthy in my opinion. Had a brief conversation earlier with a source regarding the men's Royal Rumble match. They said, and WrestleVotes quotes, "There's a finish that scares the death out of me, and it's legitimately getting heavy consideration. Yikes." I want that to sink. If you hadn't heard that before, let me repeat that statement again. There's a finish that scares the death out of me, according to this source, and it's legitimately getting heavy consideration. I think part one of this, Goldberg defeats Drew McIntyre. That's part one. I'm going out on a limb here. I'm going to say Goldberg wins. Because they keep pushing. The one title that he hasn't won is the WWE Championship. The last 3 times he's come back, he has won a championship. Kevin Owens, The Fiend. Now Drew McIntyre. I think something big is going to happen in the Royal Rumble match, and that person will be the one to challenge Goldberg. And that's where the scary part comes in, and I'll talk about that in just a few minutes here when I talk about the Royal Rumble. But I'm going to officially go on record here and say Goldberg is going to win. Do I want this to happen? No. Not whatsoever, no. The only reason I see this happening is they want to give Drew McIntyre a grand coronation on the big stage of WrestleMania for a championship. Now, depending on what I end up saying in my Royal Rumble predictions, that could all change. But they want Drew McIntyre to get a coronation in front of fans. Both of his title wins, when he beat Brock Lesnar, was to an empty arena. When he beat Randy Orton, yes, it was Thunderdome, but still no live fans. They want to give, third time's a charm, they want to give him a big win in front of people. And that will hopefully come at WrestleMania. But, yeah, I'm sticking my neck out. I'm saying Goldberg, as much as I don't want to. All right, let's talk about the Women's Royal Rumble. And this one is just a hot mess right now because as of the recording of this, I looked online at a couple of resources. As of 8:22 p.m. on Saturday night, there are 13 women announced for the Royal Rumble, the Women's Royal Rumble. That means 17 spots are open. One of them, we can all pretty much guess, one of my first surprises, is Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley will be in the Women's Royal Rumble. I would not be surprised. We are going to see some legends. Molly Holly, she will make a return. Look good again like she did last year. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Trish Stratus and Lita. That would take us up to 16. There probably will be a couple of NXT call-ups. I'd love to see Io Shirai, but I don't think that will happen since she has a triple threat match. Oh no, that's at TakeOver. That's at TakeOver in 2 weeks. So she could be in it. I think we will see a couple of NXT, not call-ups, but NXT surprise appearances in the Royal Rumble. And as I mentioned at the beginning of this show, it was announced tonight, we saw that Natalya is going to be number 30. Going with a winner, I have to go in two different directions. And again, the caveat is a lot of it depends on what happens earlier in the night. If Charlotte Flair and Asuka retain their women's tag team titles, Charlotte Flair will not win the Women's Royal Rumble. But if Flair and Asuka drop the titles, Charlotte Flair will win the Royal Rumble. But Charlotte is not my official pick. Because again, I went with Flair and Asuka retaining their titles. I have to go with my heart here. And I gotta go with Bianca Belair. They're ready to strap the rocket to her. It's hard not to say Bayley though. Bayley winning and going after Sasha and Bayley at WrestleMania would be absolutely fantastic. But I think it's going to be Bianca Belair. But you know what? Hold on. Before I write that down, because I haven't written down my picks yet, you know what? I'm going to switch it up. So many other people are saying Bianca Belair and Charlotte. I'm going Bayley. I'm going to say Bayley is going to win the Women's Royal Rumble. I'm going to stick my neck out there. Oh, another surprise return. Not a huge surprise, but here's two others that will probably happen. Lana, pretty much guaranteed to come back. And they will make her look strong. They will work to make her look strong. Second one, this is an outside chance, but she was getting set to have a big push on SmackDown before she broke her wrist before Survivor Series. Chelsea Green. Chelsea Green will return at the Royal Rumble. But I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to say Bayley is going to be the Women's Royal Rumble winner. Because that will be the last, kind of the last check mark on her career of what she needs to win. She's done everything else. So there we go. The Men's Royal Rumble. Whew, boy. Do I fantasy book or not here? As I mentioned, we already know Randy Orton and Edge are number 1 and number 2 respectively. They're going to start it off, and man, that is just going to be absolutely crazy. Now, had you asked me 3 weeks ago who was going to win the Royal Rumble, I would have said Big E or Keith Lee. Well, immediately take Keith Lee off that list right now because, again, he has not been seen on television in the last 2 weeks. The question of with Mia Yim being COVID positive now, is that going to affect him? We'll have to see. Big E, unless on the bump they all of a sudden announce he's putting the Intercontinental title on the line in a triple threat against Sami Zayn and Apollo Crews, and he drops the belt there. If Big E walks into the Royal Rumble as the Intercontinental Champion, he's not going to win either. The heartfelt pick by many people is Daniel Bryan. He's another one. That's kind of the last little carrot there for his career. He never won the Royal Rumble. He should have back in 2015, but he didn't. He did end up going on to main event WrestleMania and win the titles. Daniel Bryan will be there in the late stages, possibly the Final Four. Daniel Bryan will not win. The surprises I see coming in, this one has pretty much been confirmed. Dave Meltzer has pretty much said that Seth Rollins will be back for the Royal Rumble. And I'm going to eat a little bit of crow here. If it does end up happening, I said last week on TikTok, nope, Seth Rollins will not be back yet. He will not be back yet. He won't be back until Elimination Chamber. If Meltzer is correct, I'm going to eat crow and say I was wrong. Okay? It will be a good addition. It will be nice to have him back. I'll be curious to see what character he plays. Will he come back as the Messiah? Will he come back as the Kingslayer, the Beast Slayer? Will it be something new? We shall see. Damian Priest, much like Rhea Ripley, has been long rumored to be coming up to the main roster. If Damian Priest does not appear in the Royal Rumble, I will be highly shocked. The other return, we saw him at the Superstar Spectacle just a few days ago, actually, for WWE India. And he had a pretty good showing there. Jinder Mahal, the former world champion. Ooh, scary thought. Jinder Mahal should be making a return to the Royal Rumble. Now, my TikTok friends, the two names that have been thrown about a ton as far as surprise returns. CM Punk. It's not happening. Okay? Do not be like Oli Davis on WrestleTalk. CM Punk return confirmed. No. CM Punk is not going to be at the Royal Rumble. And the other one, which I think is even more absurd, Ryback. Have you not been paying attention to what's been going on with Ryback in social media? Okay? He got into a major war of words with Mark Henry, WWE Hall of Famer Mark Henry. Ryback is not coming back to the WWE, and he will not be in the Royal Rumble. Now, as far as my winner, well, first of all, let's talk about this. 21 men have been announced for the Royal Rumble as of the recording time. Rollins, Priest, Mahal, not on that list. So we'll take it up to 24. 6 spots left. I'm thinking 3 could be legends. Will we get a Santino Marella 1 second return? Probably not. Boogeyman? Probably not. I don't think we've heard anything about Alexander and Benjamin. They could be in it. Who knows? But 2 big names. And one of them, I could guarantee you, we saw a huge return on SmackDown last night with Braun Strowman, who is entered. He is the number 21 entry. Not he's going to be number 21. He's the 21st man to enter into the Royal Rumble. We will see The Fiend return. And what's going to end up happening, I think Edge and Orton, they're going to fight, they're going to battle. But through the first 10 guys, they're actually almost going to work together. And they're going to keep eliminating one right after the other. So it's just the two of them in the ring. One after another after another. And it's consistently Orton and Edge dominating in the ring. We get to 14:15. The countdown goes down. The buzzer goes off. The lights go out. No music. The red light comes on. And the Fiend is in the ring. And he's staring down Orton and Edge. And suddenly, as the lights go out again and we come back, we're suddenly in a Firefly Funhouse match. With just the Fiend and Randy Orton. Edge is gone. Not eliminated. It just disappears. Suddenly we're just there. They battle. You know, we see Huskus the Pig and Mercy and, you know, and everybody, Ramblin' Rabbit, you know, everybody around the ring. And the Fiend, in probably new gear, battles with Randy Orton. And we see all the evil things that Randy Orton has done to the Fiend. Burning down his house with Sister Abigail. Lighting the Fiend on fire. So many things happening. Alexa Bliss, we see her, she pops up. And they battle for 7-8 minutes in a funhouse match. And suddenly, Randy Orton gets engulfed in flames. Somehow, maybe not his body, something ends up happening where he gets engulfed in flames. The lights go out. Orton is gone. On the floor, you see something smoldering. A little bit of fire, a little bit of smoke, no body there. Orton is gone. Edge is in the ring. He's looking around confused, like, what in the world is going on here? The Fiend is there. The lights go out again. The Fiend is gone. Or is he? Then we continue on. Number 16 comes in. And it goes on and on and on. Edge will get eliminated somewhere around 21-22. We get down to the final four. Which I'm seeing Big E being in there somewhere. I'll say final five. Big E, AJ Styles, Daniel Bryan for sure. We have everybody coming in, everybody going through. Number 30 comes up. And we've ran through all the names like, all right, everybody that we expect is here. A couple of legends came through. Everybody's here. The music hits. It's Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar enters at number 30. Comes down. And the four remaining guys in the ring are just standing there staring at him. Staring at him like, all right, we know we need to eliminate him. He needs to be gone. They battle, they fight. Brock Lesnar just starts destroying everybody. He eliminates Big E. He eliminates AJ Styles. We're down to Daniel Bryan and Brock Lesnar. David versus Goliath. And it looks like Daniel Bryan is going to somehow pull out the win. And then Brock Lesnar throws him over the top rope. And Brock Lesnar wins the Royal Rumble. That's Fantasy Booking 1. That's not my official pick. Fantasy Booking 2. We changed things up a little bit. Eliminate what I said about the Fiend at 15. We go through everybody. No Brock Lesnar return. Edge and Orton, they have a great battle. They battle through. They're both eliminated somewhere around, between 18 and 24. Number 30 comes up. And again, I think we're down to... Actually, I'm going to change what I said earlier. Somehow, Edge and Orton make it to the final 5. They're still there standing at almost an hour. Number 30 hits. And we start hearing the Firefly Funhouse music. Everybody's looking around quizzically like, wait a second, is it Bray Wyatt? It's not Bray Wyatt. It's Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss, who got eliminated in the final 4.
That's so nice. Just asking me what you do.
Alexa, stop.
I'll try my best to help.
Alexa, stop. Oops. Alexa Bliss gets eliminated in the final 4. I'm going to say actually the final 2 of the Women's Royal Rumble. But she comes skipping down to the ring. You know, pigtails and bright colors and everything. Stops at the top of the stairs. Walks to the apron. Stares at Orton and Edge. The look in her face changes. And she says, "Let him in." The lights go out. They come back up. And the Fiend is standing in the place where Alexa Bliss was. He enters the ring and destroys everybody. Eliminates Daniel Bryan. Eliminates AJ Styles. Eliminates Edge. I had to think there for a second. Who was all in there? And it's down to Randy Orton and The Fiend. It looks like Randy Orton's going to hit an RKO. And The Fiend attacks and eliminates Randy Orton. And The Fiend is going to WrestleMania. We end on a dark note. We see the darkness of The Fiend. Alexa Bliss returns into the ring. And we see the darkness of The Fiend sitting in the middle of the ring, pointing at the WrestleMania sign. So who's my official pick? Who's my official pick to win the Men's Royal Rumble? I went in a couple of directions here. I don't think Brock Lesnar is coming back. At least not yet. It would be interesting, but I don't think it's happening. Will my idea with The Fiend happen? I don't know, with that dark storyline that WrestleVotes is talking about. And I didn't talk about it in the Women's Royal Rumble. I neglected to mention Alexa Bliss in there, that she could be a dark horse winner.
I'd rather not answer that.
Okay. It'll either be Bliss, Bianca, or Bayley. One of the 3 Bs, but I'm still going to stick with Bayley. I am going to go with The Fiend winning the Royal Rumble. No one else that I have seen has made this pick. Now, with my picks, I could be way off. I could easily go 0-6 on this show. Very easily go 0-6 on the show, or I could go an incredible 6-0. We shall see. As I close this out, this went a lot longer than I thought it would. I hope you enjoyed that kind of weird fantasy booking there. But I want to look at the camera real quick here. Oh, actually, speaking, hold on, before I do that, let me do this. I do want to talk about, I'm actually going to plug somebody else's show. You want to talk about fantasy booking for Royal Rumble. If you're looking for something to do before the Royal Rumble tomorrow, I encourage you, check out Adam Blampier at Parts Fun Known. He's part of the WrestleTalk family. Adam posted on Friday how Adam would book the WWE Royal Rumble 2021. I watched this on Friday. Holy cow, did he have some awesome stuff in there. Go to Parts Fun Known on YouTube and check out his fantasy booking of this year's Royal Rumble. You will not regret it. It was so much fun watching that. He did just a phenomenal job on it. Speaking of WrestleTalk, I want to put out a challenge right now. Now, I've mentioned the boys at Wrestletalk a few times. They have inspired me to do what I do here, and they do a fantastic job. But I need to call out somebody over there. Oli Davis. Mr. Davis, as you like to call yourself, the leader of the All Authority. Your ego has gotten way too big. You think you are greater than not just all things Wrestletalk, but all things wrestling. You act like you are untouchable. You have that Jam championship that, as the 3-time winner, which also means you're a 2-time loser, you think you're untouchable. Now, you may be able to defeat El Fakador, Laurie Blake, at the Royal Rumble. But I'm willing to bet. I've looked at your picks. You've got Daniel Bryan winning the Royal Rumble. It's not going to happen. Roman Reigns retaining? Okay, I'll give you that one. Drew McIntyre? No. Jackson Baszler winning the tag team titles? No. Charlotte Flair winning the Rumble? As I said before, could happen if Jackson Baszler win. I don't think your picks are going to be right. I think I am going to pick better than you, Oli Davis. So I'm laying down the challenge right now. My official picks here, minus Sasha and Carmella, we won't count that because when you recorded your show, when you recorded your predictions, it wasn't there. That match wasn't announced. So we'll go straight up. Rumble and Rumble, Universal and WWE title, and the women's tag team titles. 5 matches. My challenge, if I outpick you in those 5 matches, I want a shot at your Jam championship. Let's see if you're willing to accept the challenge. I may be the new kid on the block here when it comes to wrestling on YouTube, but Mr. Davis, I can take you down. I could take that belt. I could take it away from your cozy little home over there in England and bring it over here to the United States where the best wrestling in the world is, where that belt belongs. Not over there, but over here. So, Oli Davis, will you accept my challenge? That's it for Wrestlescope Weekly. Hope you enjoy the Royal Rumble. Leave in the comments your predictions. And feel free, after this is over, feel free to jump back in the comments, and if I get stuff wrong, make fun of me. But if I get it right, you better credit me. Just kidding. Thank you so much. Again, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like this video, smash that notification button as well so you can know every time I come on with something brand new. And don't forget to follow me on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. I am John. This is Wrestlescope. Enjoy the Royal Rumble, and we'll talk to you soon.